back to Train Like a Ballerina. Today we are doing a beginner morning mobility flow. These are some of my favorite mobility exercises from the Train Like a Ballerina method that I do every single morning to set me up for my day. If you're looking for more mobility flows and hundreds of workouts, and if you're looking to train with the best ballerinas in the world, then check out the Train Like a Ballerina app. The link is in the bio. Let's get started. We're going to start in a kneeling position or a seated position, and all we're going to do is start with some basic neck circles, making sure that our core and our torso is braced and engaged. And all we are doing is bringing our chin to our chest, and as we circle around to the right, we're pulling that left shoulder down into the ground, all the way to the back. And as we come to the left side, the right shoulder then pulls down, and chin comes all the way to the chest again. Going in the opposite direction. And one more time to each side. Again, pulling that left shoulder down as your head goes to the right, going through your full range of motion. Starting to take note of where you're feeling maybe a bit more tension, maybe a bit more of a stretch. Last one. Good, we're going to stay with our chin to our chest, and we're going to interlace our fingers and place them behind our neck. We're then going to push our neck very, very gently against our hands, again as we brace our core and pulling the shoulders nice and down. We're going to get a beautiful stretch all the way down in the neck. We're going to push against for 3, and then we're going to release for 4 and arch that back, just like if we're doing a cat-cow. Interlacing the hands behind the neck and coming chin to chest and pushing the head against the hands for 3, 2, 1, and release, coming the opposite direction. Your elbows are coming back, and you're having a nice, beautiful stretch in that upper body. We've got 3 more. Coming back, chin to chest, shoulders are pulling down, and lightly pushing the head against the hands for 3, 2, 1, and release. Exhale, bringing those elbows back. Making sure not to flare out our diaphragm here. We're keeping the core engaged, but really pulling those elbows back and having a nice release in that spine. 2 more times. Pushing for 4, 2, 1, and release. 1 more time. Pushing for 4, 3, 2, 1, and last big release. Good, coming to all 4s now, and you can either just stick to a normal cat and cow, or you can do a circular motion. This is 30 seconds of really releasing that back and moving how you feel. Making sure you're pushing the floor away with your shoulders and inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the mouth. And inhale. Maybe rock back a little bit, forward a bit, see where you're feeling your body the most. Good, we've got 2 more. Inhale. Good, we're going to do a circular motion now. The head is going to go up, no, release the neck, and the bum is going to go out. And as we come to the other side, the chin comes to the chest as you tuck your tailbone underneath you. Bit of a coordination exercise. Inhale and exhale. 2 more in the right direction, right to left.
Good, and as we come up chin to chest, we're going to go in the opposite direction for 4. So left. Let's go to the left. The hips shift to the right and all the way around. 3 more. Last 2. And last 1. Finishing it with a chin to chest, tailbone tucking underneath you. And we're just going to sit back on those knees and pull those arms forward. Really shift those hips back onto the heels. Good, you can shift the hips from side to side here, releasing those hips a little bit, while still pulling out the arms in front of you to get a beautiful stretch in the upper body. From this position, we're going to release the back a little bit more. We're going to come all the way forward. The beginner version of this exercise is to bring yourself all the way down to the ground and then just push up your body as much as you can. The more advanced option is to come all the way forward and into a Sphinx position, lifting your hips up off the ground, putting your knees back down on the ground and pulling yourself back. We're going to do 8 of these. Starting beautiful child's pose position, and inhale. Knees down, bum comes up, and exhale, coming back. Six more. Making sure the movement flows the whole time, even at that end range of motion. We're not stopping that movement. Think of fluidity, water, or what I like to always think about is dancing, never stops moving. Think of your 4 more. Last 3. Last one. Holding it here in this Sphinx position, or again, if you're down on the ground, just pushing up, making sure your shoulders are nice and back and firm, strong. And release. Coming onto our bottoms now, and we're going to just open up the hips, starting with a butterfly hip opener. The really important thing about a butterfly hip opener is, although it seems really simple, we really want to make sure we're going through our end range of motion internally and externally every single time. So we're starting in a nice wide position with our weight shifted into our back, into the back, and we're closing the legs, making sure that we're internally rotating with that hip as much as we can, springing knee to knee. When you feel like you can't go any further to that side, that's when we're opening up. And when you feel like you can't go further into the externally rotated position, that's when the other knee comes across and folds over. We're going to do this exercise for 30 seconds. Starting open position and folding over. Last 10 seconds, we're going to go a little bit faster. Good, we've got 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good, we're going to bring our legs into a parallel position, keeping our upper body shifted into the back. And all we're going to do is internally rotate now. So we're just dropping the leg, the right leg down to the left knee, while the left leg stays exactly where it is. Internally rotating and coming back, making sure we're not sitting back in our body like this. We're keeping our body nice and strong. Internally rotating. Coming back to parallel. Left leg. Back to parallel. Right leg. Good, we're going to do 8 more. 8. And the last 5, we're going to go a bit faster. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bringing the legs into an open froggy position now. And although it looks like a passive stretch, we're going to keep it really active by reaching really, really far forward, making sure that our spine is trying to remain as straight as we can. And our hip bones are glued, or what I like to say, nailed to the floor here. And as we reach forward, we're going to get a beautiful stretch in our glutes, our inner thighs. And I also love to feel it in my back as well, the more we reach forward. Even though, again, it's a passive position, we're keeping it really, really active, which means the entire time we're thinking of elongating. So the movement doesn't stop. The spine is constantly reaching forward. I'm thinking constantly of my hips driving into the ground, my knees driving into the ground. We're going to hold this for 30 seconds. Taking inhale. And as you exhale, go a little bit deeper. You might at this stage in the last few seconds go from side to side as you come to your left side, really making sure you're driving that right side further down into the ground. As you come to your right side, your left side is driving further into the ground. Good, releasing out of that stretch, we're going to do a hip flexor release now. Folding your right leg underneath you. You can either keep your left leg straight in front of you, or you can also fold it up against you. Find what works best for you. The important thing is to make sure that our left hand is really, really strong behind us here. I hope you can see the position. And we're pulling out of our shoulder here, nice and strong again, nice and strong core. Our knees driving into the ground and we're reaching diagonally behind us. The diagonal reach is from our right hand, as if we're trying to grab something here, all the way down from our hip flexor, all the way down to our quad to our knee. And our knee is driving down into the ground. We're going to do 4 of these. We're taking a big inhale and exhale and reaching across, pulling out of that shoulder, driving and twisting. You might also get a beautiful stretch in your lower back as well. And release, inhale. And if you're not feeling the stretch quite enough here, you can either pull this knee up further, your left knee further up towards you, or I also find that it stretches more when I have my left leg straight in front of me and I internally rotate it a little bit more, which means we have more distance to twist in here. Good, 2 more, inhale. The last one. Good, and release that leg. Take a second to feel the difference between your legs. I always feel a bit uncomfortable after doing one side, but I always feel so much better on the leg that I've just released. Folding that left knee underneath you. Coming back on our right elbow now, again, really pulling out of that shoulder here. And taking a big inhale and twisting. Now we're twisting all the way to our right side and pushing that left knee down to the ground and twisting through like a spiral, twisting through our spine. And release. And twist. Again, seeing where you feel it most. Sometimes it's different on one side to the other. Really taking note of where you feel it in your body. Release, 2 more. Last one. Good. And release. Coming all the way down onto our back. We're going to do one of my favorite back release exercises now, which is a roll over with a bridge. Starting with our feet planted firmly on the ground. And we're going to use our arms and our core strength to push our body over. If you can, placing your toes behind you, or if you want a deeper stretch, pointing your feet and trying to drive your knees towards the ground. Getting a beautiful stretch here. On the way down, making sure you're coming down with control, so using your core, making sure you're not taking too much tension in your upper body, placing the feet in parallel, and then driving the hips up. Usually I talk about a glute bridge being nice and straight, tucking that pelvis underneath us and engaging our glutes. We're doing the same thing, but today we're going to push actually further past our glute bridge and shift the weight into our shoulders. So we're getting a beautiful stretch in the back and pushing the power of our arms down into the ground. Our knees are pushing together. This is a great opportunity to put a block between your legs to make sure your inner thighs are still active. And coming down vertebrae by vertebrae. And releasing back over again. And driving up. Good, we've got 2 more. And driving up. We're going to hold here for 4 counts. Really engaging the glutes, pushing the knees, making sure they're parallel, driving through the heels. 2, 1, and release. Bringing your knees to your chest and just relaxing here, moving back and forth for a few minutes, for a few seconds. And we're going to come into happy baby. So we're grabbing our heels with our hands and we're pushing the knees down into the ground. And in this position again, we're not keeping it passive, we're keeping it active so you can rock back and forth. And even if you're static, it isn't just a static position. We are actively working on rotating our shoulders, pulling them down, pushing them, using our upper body to push our legs down into the ground, really opening up those hips and pushing those knees down into the ground as much as we can, holding this for 4 counts. Closing the legs, coming back up to our knees, and we've got 1 last mobility exercise and then we are done. Coming to a lunge position. All of my students know this is one of my favorite Train Like a Ballerina exercises. It is a 4 count swan, which means we're coming forward for 4 and then we're coming back on our knees for 4. You can either keep the back foot in demi-point if you'd like to get a deeper stretch in your hip flexor, or you can put it down on point, it's up to you. I'm gonna have a deeper stretch today and put mine on demi-point. Starting with a big lunge forward, bringing the arms to first position, inhale, and then exhale, bringing your toes towards you and driving the body forward. Inhale, exhale. go, we've got 4 more. Last 2. Last 1. Coming to the other side. Preparing your foot at the back, if you like. And let's go 6 of these. Inhale. I've lost count. I think we've got 4 more. 4. 3. 2. And 1. Coming back to a seated position. I hope you enjoyed that beginner morning Train Like a Ballerina mobility routine. If you'd like to see more of these incredible workouts and flows, there are hundreds of them on the Train Like a Ballerina app. I'll see you at the next Train Like a Ballerina.